Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back for another live. We're going to do a really good session today for another spiritual therapy session. I'm actually going to share my screen so you get what we're doing today. We're going to be starting off with um, healing through tarot, healing and mental health spread. Dr. Heather Hardison, she's an LPC like myself. You can check her Spotify out, Healing Through Tarot. So you can see this is a practice that we can use tarot in mental health. People like Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud definitely used it, and it was demonized, as you know, because it's uncovering the subconscious, and people find that to be really scary when you start uncovering the subconscious. But if you're here and you know about tarot, then you know tarot has something called archetypes. And that's something that Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung did. The difference is because I don't have on glasses and I don't speak like this with a European accent. And if I did so, and I held up this card for you and I said, tell me, what do you see on this image for you? Then, of course, then it's not demonized because it's a guy who's European with glasses on, right? And no one thinks that's a problem. But as we know, we can demonize things that people normally probably wouldn't. So let's get started. I took it upon myself to decide that we're going to, as the collective, I realized I was brought here because some people can't afford therapy, don't know what therapists to find, don't know where to start, where to begin. And so this is a great place, guys. So if this is interesting to you, healing mental health through tarot, and you've already been looking at channels, but you feel like they're kind of more like making you obsess over relationships and what to do, and you're feeling like you're more stuck than anything, and you're looking for more like a healing through tarot, like trying to really find some answers about yourself, because that's what it's supposed to be for. Tadushi Tarot is supposed to be helping you uncover yourself. They're little mini mirrors. And so that's what Carl Jung was trying to bring across. So hopefully I can do the same thing and bring that across to you guys. I hope so anyway. It is late at night. It's 11:12 on the clock. Magical. It was just 11:11. So change is coming. So let's start here with, as you can see, there's 15 custom healing spreads for mental health. And you can go to our website. It's pretty cool. You can check that out. And you can see how we integrate this as a tool. So you can use anything as a medium for psychology, right? Art, music, sound bowl, yoga, dancing, talk therapy. There's so many mediums. This is just one of them. Tarot is another one of them. And that I absolutely love and adore. So this is the little hand guide for us. Let's go down to the practical. So we're going to start with the mental health check-in, right? We're going to pull a card for each of these areas. So if you were coming to a session, this is what I would do. I would look at your mood, your affect, behavior, thought content, thought process, communication, speech, perception of reality, judgment, insight, and awareness and motivation. Yes, we get paid to do all of that. That's what people say. Are you trying to therapize me? No. Do you see what it goes into doing that? Absolutely not. No, I'm not doing that to you. So we get paid to do that. If people knew what it takes to do that, they would know how insulted we are. You therapy me? No, not at all. All right, so we're going to start off with my therapy cards that I made because I think those are so cool. And I have tarot on the side too. I have Light Seer's deck. And these are my deck that I made. And I made them myself because mental health, right? So start off with the mood. What mood? What's your current mood or emotional state? Current mood or emotional state for the collective. So development mind. Ooh, your current mood looks like setup. Maybe you feel like something was a setup. We have the setup card here. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe something feels like a setup. Give me more on this mood, this emotional state. Feeling betrayed. We have some betrayal and some setup here. Maybe you're feeling betrayed and set up. Or maybe you feel like something was a setup. Or maybe you're feeling like you're set. So you're okay. Well, we're already spirit. Your spirit team already into it. We're already there. Let me go ahead and clear this energy out again. Because I've lit my incense and Joseph Divine my light. I asked to cover this reading, this emotional support, spiritual therapy session. They're covered in beautiful, holy, loving energy. And we block all negative energies that would come to kill, steal, and destroy. And may this message reach the people that it's supposed to reach at the time it's supposed to reach them in divine timing. May all these things happen effortlessly. And may this reading be protected, and so shall I, and the viewers and listeners. Inshallah, inshallah. So be a confirmation. Dog just shook it off. All right. So right now, your emotional state's coming up as betrayed. So maybe you're feeling betrayed. And I have Google defense mechanisms. So maybe there is something that's going to your affect. Maybe that's something that's going on there. We'll circle back to the mood. I'll keep that on top, okay? Affect. Your affect is how you're presenting to the world. So when a therapist looks at you and they say they have a flat affect or they have a congruent affect, that means that you're matching what you're saying. So let's see your affect. What affect are you carrying around right now? Well, you're showing the emotional creativity. So it looks like the affect that you're carrying is you could, like, it says small town and welcome to New York. So you could be having like this, you could look or have this energy of like you don't fit into the small town. Like you may look like you don't fit in, like you may be bigger than what the town that you're from. Maybe from a small town, but you look really big. Maybe you look creative. Maybe you look like, like you stand out. Maybe that's the effect that you have. Maybe you carry this glow about yourself. Yeah. And maybe you're young. Maybe you have this childlike innocence about yourself. So maybe you just naturally have a some type of affect that's like pleasant. That's what I'm hearing. And get some more on that. Let's talk about that affect. Yeah, you have a bright. So maybe you're still smiling, and maybe you look like you're happy when you're not. Let's talk more about this mood. Okay, I have a lot of cards that came out for the mood, but I'm not taking all these. That's a lot of mood. Maybe you're moody. Maybe you're fluctuating through moods. Okay, I see Google's defense mechanisms right here. So I can see why. So the mood, the setup, the betrayal. Maybe you are feeling like I said, setup. Maybe you are feeling betrayed. Maybe you're feeling like you ignored something, because that's what it is. Like, see the divine trying to hand out this offering of a gift. You see the hand trying to hand out this beautiful gift. So maybe there is a bit of you that ignored that, because like she's barely taking it, and she's kind of ignoring it, and it's almost like maybe the mood is maybe your mood is like despondent or disappointed, because I would be disappointed if I look at all of these and then she looks like she's disappointed, like this is just going to be another one that goes away. You got to almost ask, like, why is she sitting in this energy, barely wanting to take it with these other empty bowls? But yeah, this looks so pretty, and it looks like something that will be really good. So maybe your mood is surrounding around something like that. Maybe you ignored something, and maybe you feel set up. Maybe you feel betrayed by someone or something. Maybe you didn't take something. Okay, let's go on to the behavior. What actions or behaviors have you been doing lately? What has the behaviors or actions? What's I've been doing lately? All right, so it seems like you've been staying to yourself. If you have been in lover boy or lover girl energy, you're not doing that right now. Looks like you're not trying to save anybody or coming in white horses or trying to give anybody in your relationship It looks like you're still coming up very emotional, but maybe you just feel empty. I see my eyes go straight to a letter. So maybe the behavior that you have right now is just like no correspondence. And I see what if be curious. So the behavior that you're having is maybe you're having a lot of what ifs, and maybe you're having a lot of curiosity around that. Maybe you're having some obsession because the Knight of Cups is a water energy. That's all about Pisces, Cancer, and it's all about the feels, right? And it may be a little bit of possession. So maybe you're being curious about things. Maybe you're because it's in reverse. So maybe I'm gonna show you the card. It feels like maybe some of your behaviors have been less than noble. Maybe at one time you were like a lover boy or a lover girl, and maybe you were very curious about, yeah, dog shit confirmation. Maybe you were very curious. Maybe you're trying to check that out. Maybe you're very curious about relationships and romance. Maybe there's an obsession with that. Maybe you have an obsession about romance. Maybe you're very curious about that. Kung Fu fighting. I know what that card means. So that means that there is definitely jealousy involved and something was unfair. Maybe you've been behaving unfairly. Maybe you've been fighting and being unfair. And maybe you're curious about some of that behavior. You have the Sinner's card too. So maybe you've been sinning. Sinning means that you haven't been listening to your higher self. That's what that means. And if you're not listening to your higher self, then that means you're not listening to God and listen to your, divine, confirmation. All right. Thought process. So let's talk about your thought process. How you arrive into these answers. Thought process. Okay. So your thought process is coming out as a Page of Pentacles. So right now, as your monthly check-in, you're coming in as learning. So that's good. If you're here, you probably are learning. You're coming here with this student energy. Look how she's trying to get grounded, or how she is grounded, but not grounded. It's like she's standing on her tippy toes, but she's being wrapped in this vine, so she's not actually rooted, but she looks like she's rooted, and she's balancing very well. So maybe this is a time in your life where you're trying to find your footing, find your grounding, trying to get balance, and it looks like you're doing a pretty good job of it right now. So there's some energy that you have wound up that you're trying to find out what you want to do with it, and I can see that here in the Three of Wands. So you're looking, your thought content is you're looking to do something, but not just looking to do something. You've already made plans. You know where you're going. You're just waiting to take action. It's like your thought process right now is in action mode. So you're in action mode, but it seems like your thought process is also slowed down a bit. So it's like you have this, I know what I want to do. I know where I want to go, but then you're not doing anything because you have the Eight of Wands in reverse. Something's hidden with the Moon card. So what's hidden behind the collective thought process? I thought, yeah. I say thought content, thought process. I guess we're to put them together then, huh? That's your thought process and your thought content. We're going to go together because it says hidden. Happy family. Wish fulfillment. Ten of Cups. So I guess your thought content and your thought process right now is both focused on you know what you want. Okay. So your mind seems like it's a lot of very plagued. It's like you know what you want. You have this energy, this Page of Pentacles, this young person who is stable in terms of like knowing what they want. You may be new at it. It's a new beginning of knowing what you want. But you're definitely here trying to figure that out. And for those who are here, there we go. All right. So it looks like you know where you're going, but it's not moving fast. So what's slowing this down for you in this thought process? What's slowing your thought process down? Okay. You're not listening to your intuition. So the reason why the thought process is slow here under the mental health portion is because the high priestess is in reverse. You're having a block. What's blocking the intuition? This relationship. So the relationship being over, this partnership is causing you to doubt yourself, to doubt what you're hearing, to doubt what you know to be true. And what's hidden is you actually absolutely positively want your family. But there has not been equal give and take. Tell me more about this moon card. And maybe you're out of ideas, or at least passionate ideas, something that you think would be really great. Yeah, that's going to work. I don't see that coming through for you. So it looks like there's a thought content of just walking away. And I got side chick right here on the top. Maybe you could feel like someone has a side chick. Maybe you are a side chick. Maybe you've had a side chick. Maybe side chicks are involved. Something about hurting yourself. Maybe you had, it says drip too hard, but drip too hard. This way. I love that song. Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to play that. Drip. Oh my goodness. That's the energy that you was having? Oh my goodness. 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 Lord have mercy. Y'all just. That ain't the one I wanted, but that'll work. That's not what I wanted, but that's what's giving. That's what's giving. So maybe you had this energy. Maybe you had that. Look at my drip. You know what I'm saying? Can't play too long because if you do, then YouTube don't like it. But maybe you're hurting yourself with that kind of energy. It says cheating. Maybe there's some cheating. It says something about friends. Hiding. Something about a vacation. So maybe there was cheating side chicks, hiding stuff. Maybe your friends were involved, listening to friends. And now there's the energy of needing to calm down. Or maybe you needed to calm down. And instead you're being passive aggressive. But this relationship has a profound bond. And I got the Soul Survivor card. Soul Survivor is a really good card. The Soul Survivor. It's like, waking up. Maybe that's what you're here to do. Okay. We're going to move along to communication. Here, done. Done. We're done with that. I'm done. So your thought process right now, the reason why you're going back and forth is because you hurt yourself. You put yourself in that situation. So we're going to probably keep figuring out how we can get out of that. So I can see where you are. If you were in therapy and you arrived here, this where come as you are. This is where you're at. So let's go to communication and speech. Communication and speech. So let's see how you're communicating these days. Right now, it looks like you could be, you got Nine of Wands reverse. Maybe you feel like you've been talking too much because it's Nine of Wands in reverse. So maybe you feel like you're not having good boundaries with people. Maybe you feel like you haven't been listening to yourself, to your higher self. Maybe you feel like your communication is off. And I have the Two of Swords. So maybe you feel conflicted. Maybe you feel confused on how to communicate. Maybe communication's the issue for you. Tell me more about this communication. You're a chosen one. Ooh, confirmation. Confirmation. Whoever you are, you're chosen. You're one of the chosen. That means if you're here, you're being called to wake up. If you're watching this, if this video makes it to you, you're being asked to wake up. This is your wake up call. I always say, I'm like your last call. By the time you reach Allison, the next step is probably going to be some other stuff that you don't want to know about. If you don't wake up with me, like that last call. They call me the bar what do they call the bar preacher? Yeah, I'm a bar preacher. Let's hang out with the sinners. If you don't get it from me, good luck next. Okay. Communication. Maybe you want to tell them that someday you'll be together. Maybe you have a desire that one day we'll be together. Maybe that's what you want to tell them. Maybe having some black and white thinking. I think that could be a little bit of black and white thinking. It could be. Maybe having black and white thinking. Black and white thinking is and or. There's no shades of gray. Someday it's not black and white thinking, but maybe you were having that. Someday it's more like gray. Maybe someday. Maybe. So maybe you're working on black and white thinking. Maybe you're the tall person in the relationship for confirmation for anybody, or maybe the person's a tall person, whoever this is. You will know if I'm talking about your person, if you're a cross watcher and they're tall or something like that, you'll know. Whoever's tall, take it as a resonance. You'll see who's who. All right, communication, speech. Ooh, maybe you were cursing over and beyond. Maybe you were sending curses their way. Like, I hope this happens to them. I hope that happened. Or they probably gonna do this. If you start speaking on people like that, you're sending curses their way. So don't do that. All right, so let's go into perception of reality. This is where the fun gets at. What is the collective's perception of reality currently? All right, now it seems like you got the Chariot card, so there's some forward momentum that you're moving towards some clear, emotionally driven Chariot here. Very direct, very fast movement energy coming whether they want it or not. So what is it that your perception, something that you're moving towards very quickly? All right, so perception of reality is Chariot card, Moon card, and Seven of Cups. So you're moving towards uncovering this illusion, because the Moon is all about illusions and it's in reverse. So you're uncovering them. Something's hidden. You're moving towards uncovering illusions about choices, the choices that you make. Ooh, the choices that you make. Queen of Wands in reverse. Yeah, the choices that you make when you were being super optimistic and very I guess whatever you think is optimism and happiness and creating whatever you think is fun and happiness. It's like now you're looking back at what you create, and I think you don't like what you were creating. And you don't like how you were speaking. You don't like how you were learning. You don't like how you were moving. Both of these, see the Page of Swords in reverse, and you have the Queen of Wands in reverse. So you're not really, it's something about, I should say not happy, something about looking and uncovering the choices that you make when it comes to how you speak, how you think, how you study, how you create, how you generate things, how you move, how you dance in conversation, just how you move around. Ooh, and in a reality of what a mother is or empress is, or what divine feminine energy is. You're uncovering what a real nurturing person is. So maybe this perception of reality, maybe you didn't know what a divine feminine looked like truly. Someone who gives birth to the world. Someone who can have emotions on their back and still carry nurturing energy for the world. And someone who's tapped all the way in, who listens to her intuition every single day, all day, and just very beautiful and divine. So maybe you're looking at maybe you're seeing what actual beautiful feminine energy is, and what a family is, and what it's like to work together as a team. Look at these cards. Maybe you're learning to, like I said, what feminine energy is and how to build a home and work together as a team, because to build this tapestry takes a lot of time, patience. Everyone has to work together as a team to make it come together to be very beautiful. And maybe you're thinking, oh yeah, confirmation. That hurt. Oh my God. Oof, man, you get some downloads. Maybe you're learning about what it's like to build with a family with children and things like that as well. And how to balance your internal state and your external state. How to balance your internal energy, the things that you have to think about on a daily basis, that internal voice, and also your external voice as well. Yin and yang, inner and outer, managing your money, managing your time, managing your finances, having healthy boundaries with yourself. Balancing your time. So let's move along so we can finish this check-in, this monthly check-in, y'all. It's going great, actually. Judgment. I actually want to pull a card, one of these for your perception of reality, and then we'll go to judgment. Perception of reality, perception of reality. Perception of reality. Level up, grow up, glow up. So maybe you're learning how to grow up now. Maybe you were in this childish energy. Maybe you're being very childish or emotionally immature or emotionally unavailable, emotionally mature. Judgments. What judgment? How's their judgment? Ooh. Your judgments are all over the place, huh? Okay. Judgments. Maybe music and listening to instrumentals helps you to think and make clear judgments. And when we talk about judgments, this is the ability to tell yourself no when you want to say no, and yes to things that you want to say yes to. Your impulse control, your ability to judge. Sorry, I did not say this. This is not me. The card says weak-minded. Maybe you feel a bit weak-minded. And this is what they mean by emotionally immature. People who are emotionally immature, we call them weak-minded. So maybe if you have been emotionally immature, this is a need to build some emotional strength, some to not be weak-minded. And it may sound like an insult to hear someone say weak-minded, but again, if a better word is emotional immaturity, or you have to build more mindfulness. If you don't like those words, if they're offensive to you, at the bottom of this card it says learn yourself. That's how you kind of stay out of the weak-mindedness. If you don't like that word, if it's offensive to you, the shoe fit. I don't know. Maybe your judgments or your thoughts have you up all night, waiting, cursing, yelling. Maybe you have this inwardly. Maybe you're doing this outwardly. Maybe you're casting judgments on yourself. Tell me more about judgments. So right now, your ability to control yourself. Maybe you feel like you can't. Maybe you feel like you move to the beat of your own drum. This is cursing and weak-minded. Maybe you feel like you be up at night, and maybe you feel stressed out. And maybe the judgments, because I see the Ten of Swords, something about wanting to return. Ten of Swords. There's something that you want to go back to. And it's this relationship that's very, 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 very what's the word for it? Nostalgic. It's relationship with a lot of familiarness to it. Confirmation. Could feel like home. Could be a close bond from the past. It could be, there could be an animal involved since it's animal on the card. Um, it looks like this judgment, the ability to control something, your impulse control right now that you're having. Maybe you're struggling with ways that you have been weak-minded in the past and cursing and being up all night. And this Ten of Swords says that there was an ending that happened. And the Three of Wands, it's like, I don't know how I'm going to go towards that or fix that. Yeah, because the Magician comes out in reverse. So it looks like maybe you were being at some point manipulative, because the Magician in reverse, he has access to all of the elements, the wands, the cups, the swords, the pentacles. And because it's in reverse, it means he's using it for dark alchemy. So that means that there could have been some manipulation on your part, or there was manipulation on your part. Contracts. Maybe you made a contract. Maybe there's a marriage involved. Maybe there's some type of contract. Maybe there's a promise of some type of contract. Maybe it's an actual contract, actual marriage. Never disrespect a woman. Maybe in this marriage or relationship or this contract, or take it as it resonates, maybe there was disrespect done to a woman that was involved. And maybe there's some overgeneralizing, everyone, always. Maybe you said things like every woman, all women. Because I've had people do this to me before. I've had all girls ain't nothing, or all women do this, and all, people do that. I've had people say that before, especially with, oh my goodness, I've had someone tell me all girls go back to their baby daddy and have sexy time with them. Which girls have you been talking to? Nah, because I know. Drama triangle. You can go Google that. Cartman's drama triangle. That's called the persecutor role. If you've been doing that to people, persecuting them, you should do this. All people, everyone, no one, always, nobody. That is literally putting yourself in a victim mentality, in which is going to have to make the person chase you because you're the victim. So you go from being the persecutor to being the victim. It's ridiculous. And then when the person chases, and you go, see, I was the victim the whole time. Drama triangle. How fun. Motivation. Let's go. No, insight. Let's talk about your self-awareness. What is the collective actually aware of? We know what you're aware of. What is the collective actually aware of? Okay. You are aware of the need to stop, to get out of this. This is reverse. You're aware of, like, there's enough thinking. It's enough sitting and thinking. That you're aware of. And you're aware that you need to make a plan to do something. But where the insight and the self-awareness stops with you, we have this Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And it's like, I know I'm done thinking about it. I know I want to go do something. But the energy that you need to go do it is just being sent only towards looking. So you're spending your time just planning what to do. Not even, maybe like planning or just looking. Yeah, planning. Planning, this is more like looking, not planning. This is more like looking and come in. Yeah, maybe a little bit of planning because I see the map there. Yeah, okay, so maybe planning. All right, let's talk about more about this too. Okay, tell me more about the Four of Swords in reverse, because they're done. So you're done thinking, and now you're trying to be strategic. You're trying to be strategic because there's a third party involved. So if there was cheating as it came out earlier, whoever you are, there's a third party involved, and because you're done thinking, but now you're trying to be strategic about letting these third party situations go, like these other people's. It could be other job, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be anything, something that's coming in the way or interference that you feel is interfering, because this is coming up as it's coming up. So it's something that you feel like you need to let go of or deal with, because it's in reverse. So something you need to be done with. And it looks like something about this Queen of Swords, because this Queen of Swords comes right up under this Knight of Pentacles with this self-awareness. So you're aware that someone is this Queen of Swords. Oof. Okay. So I can see maybe why you don't want to go towards whatever it is that you're done thinking about, whether it's a person or a job or moving or whatever it is that's for you. I feel like for most of y'all, this is gonna resonate as a person. Maybe a small few where it's something else. A very small few. For most of y'all, it's gonna be another person, another relationship. Yeah. Absolutely. Full card in reverse. There's something that you took a leap of faith on that could have been third parties. You could have been made, again, because it came out the drip. You got your drip. So maybe you were feeling like you were a life of the party, or maybe you were liking the intention. Maybe that was a leap of faith. Maybe you felt like it was foolish, because now all these fool cards and the girls in reverse, like you ain't trying to take a leap of faith. You ain't trying to be with no women. And now you're being strategic. And I see this, again, this very slow moving energy, thinking about, it's like you spend so much time thinking about doing something that you don't do anything. And then you have this Queen of Swords here. She's looking, and this could be you, but I don't feel like it's you. I don't feel like this is you. Somebody's younger, someone's older. So there's a feminine and masculine on the table. So whoever the feminine energy is coming off more mature. Whoever the masculine is coming off more immature. So the immature energy the mature energy just coming out here, the Queen of Swords. Again, we're looking at your insight, what you're aware of. You're aware that this person sees you as emotionally unavailable, immature, where pigs fly, and they see it fast, because it's the Eight of Wands. It's like they're looking directly at you quick, like hot, fast, like they see you. Like, and the Ten of Cups is in reverse. So maybe them seeing you made this, you see how this big happy family is all so happy, just, just wish fulfillment. This is what everybody wants, right? Love, a union, a partnership, and then, beautiful things, happy rainbows, the kids playing, vacations, holidays, sunshines, all the things, everything that you wished, right? Kaput. It's in reverse. So you're aware of this. Damn. You're aware that living your best life did not end up well. You have the Page of Wands. Look, just living my best life. Ain't going back to fuck with you and live my best life. Ain't get you what you wanted. Got you Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Living your best life got you what you did not want. Okay. I think you're aware of that now. If you sat through that. That's what therapy be like. Therapy's like this, for real. The 45-minute session is actually better than that, because you get to talk back to me. And here you can't talk to me about this stuff, but in a session it's actually way better. Motivation. 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 And last one. Ooh, child. Gotta go take sleep. Right now, competition is motivating you. So there's a challenge that you have. A choice. A new idea about a rebirth. So right now, what I see for you, whoever you are I don't know if you can see this card. You're being currently motivated by challenging yourself. I like this card because these are the same person. He's fighting himself. So maybe you're trying to beat the younger versions of you. Or is that pure the same? No, the same. Maybe maybe it's competition with other people. Maybe it's competition with yourself. But what's motivating you is the competition, or knowing that maybe you have a competitive mind. Maybe you're a competitive person. Maybe you like to compete. Because you're coming up here with that competitive energy gives you choices. Something about competition makes you be like, what should I do? And then that makes you have a bright idea. And then it makes you want to start new again. So whoever you are, you have a competitive spirit. You're a competitive person. Get some more motivation. You need to watch K-pop Demon Hunter Slayer, whoever you are, because this movie keeps coming out for you. Something about a 4-page letter, because be careful and make sure they're right. Aaliyah. So maybe what's motivating you is this Aaliyah energy. Maybe you want to write them. Maybe writing them. Maybe you write them. Maybe they write you. Maybe something about writing. Maybe writing motivates you. And I say them. Maybe you. Maybe motivation for you. Evolve into a whoever you are, this card is for you, baby. It says evolve into a non-complainer. Literally grow out of that. No. And then you did this. Persecutor. You should have did this and you should have did that. You should have did this. You should. Oh my God. Connection is the only game. Yes. So I always talk about the drama triangle. I always talk about it. That is not a connection game. You will never make connections that are long lasting with people doing the persecutor, the victim, and the rescuer role. That doesn't work. You will always have a toxic relationship with people. Instead, you want the presence model. Connection is the game. You're no longer a victim. You're just a human having a spirit having a human experience. You're no longer chasing. You are a coach. What did I learn? What can I do differently? What about that made me upset? What can I do about that? And then the persecutor's no longer a persecutor. They just have good boundaries. I don't feel comfortable with that. They're able to communicate their wants and their needs in a healthy way. This makes me feel very sad when you do blank. I feel tired today. Do you mind if we do that later? I don't feel comfortable with that. Yes, maybe only a little bit, maybe tomorrow. So those are just healthy boundaries versus you should know, making people guess your feelings and jumping to conclusions and assuming and magnifying and minimizing and overgeneralizing. Those things right there, that will keep you in a toxic pattern with everybody, including yourself. It starts with yourself first. You'll be in a drama triangle with yourself. For example, the drama persecutor. You need to go to sleep and get off the phone and stop doom scrolling. That's the persecutor. You should stop doing that. Then what do you feel? You feel like a victim. I should. And you feel powerless. Then the rescuer comes in. Well, you're already stayed up past your bedtime. What's 45 minutes going to hurt? See the enabling? See how you're in a drama triangle with yourself? Crossing your own boundaries? So whatever you practice in private, you produce in public. I'm going to leave it here. I hope this was helpful to you. I'm going to be on to do some more spreads because I love this. This is awesome. Bye, guys.